Okay, I want to introduce the Bromers. The Bromers are a couple that we had the blessing of actually meeting them face to face last night, and I just love them. We had an incredible evening. It's not how you want to be brought together, but it has certainly been incredible to see how God brought us together. I had the opportunity to talk with and work with Susan on the phone. And last night, as we were having dinner, Scott mentioned something about Sterling working at the Y, and they shared that their son had worked at the Y. Well, lo and behold, our sons were friends on Facebook unbeknownst to us. So we already felt that God had just connected us, but then to see that last night was just an added gift. But I would like to introduce Mason. He's going to come up and share with you, and we just appreciate so much you doing that, Mason.
I'm not sure if this qualifies me to be speaking here this evening, but what I would suspect is that there's a common thread. We've all experienced the pain, suffering, and loss of a loved one or someone close to us, or we truly believe in the wonderful cause and foundation and how it can benefit those who may have walked in our shoes. Perhaps it's a little bit of both. In any event, I found myself doing a lot of praying, soul-searching, and reading the past 11 and a half months, trying to work through the relentless pain, sorrow, and shock that our family has experienced. In one of the books that was shared with us by a dear friend, which is called More Beautiful Than Before, it was written by Rabbi Steve Letter, something that really hit home for me. And it says, pain is an invitation to be a wiser, kind of person. Pain's an invitation to be a wiser, kind of person. That wouldn't have meant a thing to me until 11 and a half months ago. In the morning, I went to the grocery store to get some groceries, and I came back home, and in the driveway, there was a man with a suit that was talking to my wife. And I knew it wasn't a salesperson, and I knew it wasn't Jehovah's Witness, and I'm sorry if there are some people that believe that, but I knew it was not good. And he was the Raleigh police detective that was the messenger, delivering our invitation and letting us know that our son died tragically that night. And from ever there, our lives weren't the same. That was our personal invitation. And from that day forward, we tried to find a new norm. And there's various ways that we've been doing that, and I thought maybe I'd just try to share some of that with you as well, because it's really been a healing for us, and hopefully it'll help some of you as well too that are maybe in this situation as well. We were obviously in total shock, and it was beyond the worst thing that we ever felt in the world. And people would come up to us and apologize and say they don't know what to say. And the first words out of my mouth were, "It's okay. I don't know how to act. I've never been here before." So we didn't have to say anything. We could just hug, hold each other, and pray. 5 days later, I faced the biggest challenge of my life. I volunteered to give the eulogy to my son. He always said I was his hero, which is undeserving. But I'll be damned if I was going to let somebody else honor him or speak on his behalf. From that day, it was unbelievably painful, but when we look back, there's so many beautiful things that came from that as well. In the midst of all that pain and suffering, an enormous challenge to our faith. That day and the weeks and months ahead, so many beautiful moments arise so many beautiful gestures and acts of kindness. People would come up to us and say they want to be like our family. Or we plan to change how we interact with our loved ones. Or our priorities and our relationships with our families have changed as a result of the way you act and behave with one another. That touched us in such a way. At that point, we realized maybe there is an opportunity to do something unique and a way of giving back. Another thing we discovered through this whole experience is how certain people that were close to you, that you expected them to be really supportive or be there when you needed them, they weren't always there for one reason or another, and we don't blame them. But then in other cases, there's people that you really don't know or you don't really have a relationship with, but they provided a helping hand and the love and the kindness that is unbelievable, and it gives you hope. One of the people in the room, or two of the people, is Marcia and Scott. And through Dana Judy's recommendation, she's a neighbor, we started getting out of the house and just walking around the neighborhood, sobbing uncontrollably. But we'd run into them. Together, we would just stop in the middle of the street and just hug and pray. And she finally shared with Sue, whenever you're ready, that I have a friend that might be able to help you out. So she hooked us up with Marcia and Scott. And my wife wasn't ready for that. But she knew that I needed it, and our sons needed it, and she needed it to slowly begin the healing. So the conversations began, little by little. Just a little bit of the trust started building. Some of the calmness, some of the comfort, some of the listening. It was incredibly warm and helpful to my wife, and I seen the slow change. And through her, it helped me to slowly begin that healing process as well. I could say some of those acts of kindness that come from people you just don't expect. And that's why this whole foundation is just incredible. And we're so blessed to be part of this here this evening. Every morning I wake up, I've started a new ritual. And I take 20 minutes, just quiet time to meditate and to read some of the books that Marcia shared with us. I'm not an overly religious person, but so much of the things just run true, and it helped to provide some sense of hope and understanding of why this has happened to us, why God chose Al, who is the most happy, healthy, most beautiful kid you'd ever want to meet. I still read from those books today, and I swear it really makes a difference. I continued to walk around the block, running into Dana and Chris, still bawling my eyes out. But I looked up at one point. I seen a sign in the front lawn of this house. And it was an orange sign that said, "Do good, be kind, change the world." I just lost it. And I continued to walk down the street, and a little girl came up to me and tapped me on the shoulder. And it was the daughter of the homeowner. And she had the sign in her hand. She said, "I know my father noticed some of the grieving that you're going through, and he doesn't know what type of pain you've experienced, but he thought you could benefit in having this sign." Again, it's another one of those experiences of what? We don't know those people. But my God, every morning I leave the house and I go to work. I read that sign. And every day I come home, I read that sign as well too. And again, it's another reminder of me and my family to do good, to be kind, to change the world. Are we doing something every day, not for us, but for others? And that's part of our new calling. And that's what's given us a lot of hope Is that just something small? Anything that you can do for others to make a difference, large or small? If you can make a difference, then we've done something far more important and far more beneficial. It's something that could memorialize our son. Last thing I'll share. 4 weeks ago, we were fortunate if our youngest son got married to his bride and his longtime girlfriend. And he asked me to be his best man. I was a pinch hitter for my son, his best friend, his brother Al. But I took the honor. And I knew it wasn't deserving, but by God, I wasn't going to let him down. And it was a powerful moment. But at the end of the night, when everybody was gone, there was one couple left. And it was a good friend of my son. And he was crying his eyes out. And he just came up to me. And he hugged me and he said, you know, what you did tonight, the courage you showed, gave me the strength, gave me the hope, and the belief that I can do it too. The story behind him is even more tragic than myself and my wife. He lost 2 brothers and a father, all separately, all tragically, all within a short period of time. And this was a couple of years ago. And he just looked at me and he hasn't been able to recover. He hasn't found any support system. And it's just sometimes these moments where you listen to somebody else and it gives you hope and courage that maybe you can do it too. And that just made our whole trip. That I could do something small for him. And also open up my eyes that we're not the only ones that are suffering. There's so many other people out there. And it gives us hope that we're on the right path. The things that we're doing here tonight, the things you do each and every day, that you do as part of this foundation, is going to make a difference. So I just say, thank you for the little things that you're doing, just being here, showing up, just showing the acts of kindness. Thank you for supporting the foundation, for listening to me tonight. And I just hope in some way that something from this you're able to take away and help to do good and be kind and change the world. Sorry I couldn't contain myself more. Thank you.